Hi, everyone. Welcome back. This is actually my first full episode. I did release a trailer just to kind of give you an idea of what the show is going to be all about. And if you listen to that trailer, you will have noticed that I didn't really have a video of myself. I'm just doing pictures right now because I just recently moved to a new home and I'm still unpacking boxes, and my camera equipment and everything like that is still packed away. So I have to come across those. And once I do, and I'll be able to set up and actually do the videos. But for right now, it's just my voice and some images on the screen if you watch it on YouTube. If you're just listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, then that's perfect. So you don't need to see me anyway because you're just listening to it. And if you're anything like me, I like to listen to my podcast that I listen to, that I'm subscribed to. I like to listen to it in my car, like on my way to and from work. And sometimes I veg out in my car on my lunch breaks and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of different ways to go about this. But anyway, just to kind of recap the trailer, this show is going to be about a lot of pop culture content, as well as just random thoughts that pop into my head. And I do get a lot of random thoughts. Like I will be sitting there or laying there in bed, getting ready to go to sleep, and all of a sudden I'll just think of something random. And I think that I don't know, I've been diagnosed with ADHD and OCD, and I'm not sure which this stems from. But it could be from one of those. My mind is just constantly going, and I get one thought to the next, and I figure, you know what? Let's just talk about it. So, anyway, moving on with this episode, I want to talk about the little red spiders that you come across in books. So, there's been a couple of times in my life, not a lot, just a couple of times here and there, and I do read a lot, where I'll be reading my book, and it's usually not a new book, not a brand new book, but it's usually a book that I have read before that I've had for a while and that I want to revisit, And I'll turn the page and I'll see this little red bug just walking across the page. And of course, my first reaction is, just smack it or get rid of it or, whatever you need to do. And I never use my hands because I feel that's icky. I don't want to know my hand and anything like that. But, I'm like, what is this little red spider that's in my book? And I never really thought about it before. You know what I mean? Until just recently. And I figured it'd be worth doing research and worth looking into and worth talking about. And yeah, I have come across them a couple of times. Like I said, not many times, but a couple of times. And a lot of them come from, like, if you borrow a book from the library. But like I said, I've never seen them in brand new books, and I never see them anywhere else. So what I did was I did a little bit of research. And in doing this research, I come to find out that these little red bugs are actually called clover mites, which are in the arachnid family, but they're not actually spiders. They are virtually harmless and will not eat your pages, so don't worry about that. They just like damp, warm areas, so controlling moisture and dust in your space can prevent them from invading your books. So I've seen close-up images of these guys, and yeah, they are just as creepy as regular spiders. In fact, as I was researching for this episode, I was cringing the whole time. I do not like spiders. They are I just wish spiders didn't exist, because that and roaches, they should not exist in this world. I'm sorry, they shouldn't. I just do not like them. They creep me out. But it's funny because anytime I've seen these little red, and I'm going to keep calling them spiders because that's what they remind me of, the little red spiders. Every time I see them in a book, and again, I've only seen them a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times, but every time I've seen them, I didn't really creep out about it as much as like a regular spider, but it's still icky. It's like, why is this thing in my book? Why I'm trying to read? Why are you on my words? Why are you crawling on the words I'm trying to read? Get out. But anyway, yeah, I do not like spiders. Anytime I see a spider, so let me give you an example, okay? And I'm sorry, but this is a real creepy episode. This is a creepy, cringy content for an episode, but I just had to get this out because it's been on my mind. And I'm like, what are these things? Where do they come from? How do they form? Why are they in my book? So anyway, spiders, getting back to regular spiders. I've always been, okay, I wouldn't consider myself afraid, so to speak, of spiders, but just creeped out by them. But I guess you can call the condition arachnophobia because, yeah, I do not like any kind of spiders. I don't care how small they are. And of course, the bigger they are, the more creepy they are, whatever. I think daddy longlegs are probably the less creepiest spider, but I still don't like them. I used to be able to pick them up by the legs, and that didn't bother me. And I used to like watching them when I was little. But even growing up, like if there was a spider in my room or anything, I would not be able to get it. I would have to have my father or my brother kill it for me. Okay? I just did not, especially if it's on the ceiling. If it's on the ceiling, what are you going to do? You put like a broom to it or something, and then it falls. And then you're worried if it's going to fall on you or on your bed or on your toys, your stuffed animals, your dolls, things like that. I don't want that. Oh, you know what the worst was too? When it goes behind a poster. Oh my goodness. My walls used to be filled with posters when I was a teenager. My wall was covered with like all kinds of like celebrities, rock groups, anything that I liked was on my walls. And if a spider went behind a poster, oh my gosh, my poor poster. And then you don't want to like really smash your poster and smush it, but then you're like, oh my God, is this thing going to come out? Like, how am I going to get the spider out from under my poster? Because I know it's there. And I know eventually it's going to come out anytime and get on me or something, or get on my toys or my stuff. You know what I mean? Like, no. So that was always the worst. But my dad has to this day jokes around about how I could be in my bed in the dark in the middle of the night and sense that there's a spider in my room. And I will go to my brother and ask him to come and get it for me. And a lot of the times he would, but there was sometimes he'd be like, Dawn, come on, you get it yourself. I'm trying to sleep. So then I would run downstairs and tell my dad, there's a spider in my room. He would come upstairs and he would turn the light on blazing, full blast light on. So we're both blind at this point, and it would take him a few minutes to get adjusted to the light. And he would be like, where? And I would be like, right there. He's like, I don't see it. I'm like, Dad, it's right there. And he still wouldn't see it. I'm like, Dad, it is right there. And he'd be like, that little thing? I'm like, I don't care how small it is. It's a spider and it's in my room and it doesn't belong here. Please get it out. And he would be like, how did you know that this was here in the pitch black? I'm like, Dad, really? I know it's there. So I don't know if I'm like Spider-Man and I have like Spidey sense or whatever like that, but it's not in a good way because I don't like them. I don't want to be a Spider-Woman, a Spider-Man, anything like that. Nothing. So, yeah. So as I got older, though, I now have the courage to be able to get rid of it myself. And I'm sorry. Okay. If you're a spider lover, I'm really sorry, but not sorry. If a spider is in my home or on my personal property or even on myself or anything, it's getting killed. It's either getting smushed, flushed out. Now, listen, I know I'm like scattering all over the place, but that's just how I am. When I talk about something that I'm so, I guess you could say compassionate about, because this, this does affect me a little bit. I try not to smush a spider because there's been a couple of times that I smush a spider and all little baby spiders come flying around everywhere and I'm just like, whatever. So I try not to smush it. Instead, I try to capture it and flush it down the toilet. So my go-to way to get rid of a spider in my home is to get it with the broom. And I know sometimes it can get caught in the bristles, and that has happened before, but I'll like smash it a little on the floor or whatever to get it out. I'll sweep it onto the dustpan. Now, if it's already on the floor, it's just easy enough to sweep in the dustpan. And then I'll flush it down the toilet. Okay, that is my actual go-to way. I used to spray the crap out of it with whatever I get a hold of, whether it's just water or hairspray or something, you know what I mean? Just spray the crap out of it, spray the shit out of it so it, can't go anywhere until I'm able to scoop it up on something and flush it down the toilet. But like I said, if it's on the ceiling or if it's high up on the wall or anything like that, that's hard to do. And I don't, and now that I'm a grown up, I don't want to stain my walls with anything, so I don't want to spray stuff on it and whatever like that. So I am actually grab the broom by the very end of the handle because I want to be as far away from the shit as possible, right? So I grab the broom far away as I can and I nudge it or whatever, just kind of press the broom into it until it falls on the floor. I make sure it's a safe place that it's going to fall on the floor, and I can scoop it up in the dustpan and then flush it down the toilet. Yeah. So that is where I'm at. Now, if it's on the ceiling, it depends. Sometimes I'll be brave enough to get it, but other times I'm like, honey, can you get the spider? Whatever. And my husband doesn't like spiders either, but he's not as I don't know, I guess you could say afraid of the spider as I am. You know what I mean? He thinks they're creepy too, but he's more braver than me and he can get the spider. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's icky. It's gross. I don't like them. If I see a spider outside and it's not on any of my stuff, it's not on me, it's not on my kids, it's not on my husband or anything, I'll leave it alone. I don't bother them when they're outside because my thing is that's their home. That's their home, and I'm in their home and I'm invading their home. So I'm not going to bother them, okay? But if they're in my home and on my stuff, I'm sorry, but not sorry, they're getting killed. Okay, so getting back to the little red spiders that are called clover mites. Now, I was trying to figure out how do they get in my book? Do they just form there? Is it, do they just grow out of the pages? Like, what is happening? So, what I read online was that they can easily get into your home through cracks in the walls or the foundation, whatever the case may be, or even by being attached to something that you bring in. They can even be attached to you, right? You're outside, one gets on your pants, your pant leg or whatever, and you bring it in, okay? And you can actually get infested with them, but I've only seen one on occasion. Like I said, I've only seen it a couple of times in my books, and they have never been in any other part of my home, just in a book. I have never seen these things anywhere else, just on a page in a book. And they do say that you shouldn't smush them, though, because they will cause a red stain. And that red stain is not blood. It's just their pigment, right? So instead, try to shake it off into the toilet, like I was talking about, or if you find them on a solid surface, like not in your book or whatever, use soap and water. Obviously you're not going to use soap and water in your book because you're going to ruin your pages. And I think most surfaces will be able to get that red stain out, but I have gotten it in a book once. I have grabbed a tissue and smushed it before, and it did cause a red stain, and I thought it was blood. I'm like, gross, what the hell? You know what I mean? But it's not. It's from their pigment, which is really interesting, right? So have no fear. They're not dangerous. They're not poisonous. I know they're red, and sometimes a lot of people, when they see red, they think poisonous or whatever, but they're not. It's just alarming to turn the page of your book, and suddenly you see a little red bug crawling all over the words. Like, what the hell is up with that? Get out of my dang book, right? So that's what that is. And in doing the research on these clover mites, whatever you want to call them, there is actually another bug. I think it's a different type of bug, though. It's called book lice. And I think it's a little bit different from hair lice and now and now we're getting itchy talking about this, right? Our heads are getting itchy. Head lice or whatever like that. But I think it can get in your hair and end up being hair. I mean, I don't know. That might be a different subject, a different episode, different content altogether, whatever. This was cringy enough as it is, and I'm sorry if I made you cringe and creeped you out and stuff like that, but this is just one of those things that was on my mind, and I thought it would be interesting to talk about it. And now I want to introduce you to one of the many segments that I'm going to have on the show. And these segments, I'm only going to have like 1 or 2 each episode. So this segment in particular will be on this episode, but it might not be on the next episode or even the next one after that. It's just going to be random. It's going to be random. And what I want is for you to send me an email, and I will provide the link to an email, like I said, in the show notes and on the description on the YouTube channel. And just maybe put in the content the name of the podcast, Vibe Vaults, or whatever, just so I know that it's one of you commented on this kind of thing. So this segment is called Dumb Things That Should Not Have Happened. And I got the inspiration. It was actually me, my husband, and my daughter Juliet were talking one day. I don't know. We talked about certain things that have happened to us that is really stupid, and why did that happen? So, for example, have you ever been like in your kitchen, let's say, or even by any kind of door in your home or anywhere for that matter, and you get like a belt loop or a piece of your clothing stuck on the doorknob or handle of a cabinet door or drawer door or anything like that? That has happened to me a couple of times. And I'm like, really? Why does this happen? Or in your pocket, oh, excuse me, or in your pocket, a doorknob, if it's just the right size, just the right height to where your pockets are in your pants or whatever, it goes in your pocket. And it's like, what the hell? That's stupid. Why did that happen? Right? Or, like, for example, I have fallen going up the stairs before instead of coming downstairs. I've fallen going up the stairs, boom, flat on my face. What the hell? Right? So anything like that you can think of that you think, oh my God, why did this just happen to me? It's so stupid. You know what I mean? I would love to post your comment on the air on the next episode that I do this segment, right? So go ahead and send me that email, and I will mention the email, and I will also put the link into the show notes. And I know if you're driving and you're listening to the podcast while you're driving, please don't try to look at the show notes while you're driving. Just whenever you get a chance, look on your phone or wherever you get your podcast from, and you will see it in the show notes. But yeah, I would love to get your insight. I would love, let's get a chuckle out of this. You know what I mean? I think that it would be a cool segment for the show. So anyway, that is all I have for you today. Thank you for joining me. Again, I will be airing these episodes every Sunday. And as soon as I get enough followers, I will go live on a video live, once a month. And we can just talk about shit, right? So yeah, again, thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Peace out.